Wait, no, no, I wasn't ready. I wanted to listen to the end of it. That is a I love that industrial shit in the back. I mean, obviously I'm biased because that's my kind of thing, but I love what you've done with the place, John. And if not, wait till next year. It's an annual thing now. Yeah. There's as always, their dates are all fucked up, and I hate them. You have for the boner, from January 1st to the 31st, so all month. Hmm. World of Van Helsing. I'm sorry, I was reading that like midway through, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. World of Van Helsing Death Trap, which is Van Helsing. The I'm probably gonna get hit with a Jake is full of shit on this, but it's the top down sort of isometric Diablo Van Helsing games. It's that IP, except this is a tower defense. So I mean that art's that art and that style is always been pretty cool. So I'm hoping they can come up with some cool, like cool towers, like big fucking, dragon towers that eat people or something. I don't know. It's free ish. We'll see. Um, and then Killer Instinct Season 2, which, if you remember, Killer Instinct is a free to play game, but then they sell you skins and sell you characters and stuff. You get, apparently, all of the Season 2 characters if you download it from the 16th of January through the 15th of February. And they're not all top tier, but I want to say TJ Combo is in that Season 2.
And isn't that game run by Dave Lang and his whatever that company is?
I know he was involved when they were when they were starting it out, but I think he and a couple people have moved on and started doing their own thing.
Hmm.
Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they moved on a couple of months ago. Either way, it's a lot more. I've goofed around with it a little here and there, and it's a lot friendlier to noobs than it used to be. Certainly, don't expect to go online and be successful at all. But if you're just wanting to kind of play through the quote-unquote story or just see the cool backgrounds, and man, there's some cool backgrounds. They basically have a button mash mode to where, like, if you don't have to worry about timing, really what buttons go together, links, nothing like that. You just mash, 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 and combo. It's awesome. And then for the 360, we have The Cave from January 1st through the 15th. Do you remember what that is?
No.
It's sort of a Metroidvania kind of thing, except there's 6 different people who are trapped in this cave, and they all sort of have their own different skills and stuff like that. It's not my type of game, so I never picked it up, but the art style is cool. And the people who played it, who are into that sort of genre, seem to really, really like it. So if that's at all anywhere in the vicinity of being up your alley, you've already paid for it. Try it out. And then lastly, we have Rayman Origins for the 360 from the 16th through the 31st. It's a platformer. I mean, Rayman Origins has been out on every platformer and been on sale a billion times, and has probably been on Games with Gold twice already. Like, I feel like I've seen this game on some deal or sale or something every 3 weeks since I've been alive. So I feel like you know what you're getting there.
Pretty much.
That's the Xbox stuff. You going to take the PS Plus, or you want me to hit that too?
I may as well run through it.
Okay.
Day of the Tentacle remastered, PS4 cross-buy on Vita. Of course, this is the classic what's his fuck games from. I'm just going blank on everything. Double Fine, Tim Schafer. That's one of his.
I was going to fuck with you and say it was Sid Meier and just trick you into saying yes.
No, he only made one game, and that's the Pirates game.
Right. Yeah. He's a real one-trick pony.
Let's see. This War of Mine, the Little Ones? I don't know what this is. Did they make a sequel to this War of Mine?
It's not a sequel per se. We've talked about this before. It's this War of Mine, except now there's kids in the house, and like you have to keep them comforted. It's a super dark game, and now it's just way fucking more dismal and darker.
Great.
It's like the opposite of Fallout Shelter.
That sounds good. Blaze Rush for PS3. The Swindle for PS3.
Do you not know what Blaze Rush is?
I don't. Maybe I should have just let you done this. I have no idea what any of these are except for Titan Souls. So,
now, mind you, these next two are for PS3, so they're only going to count for anyone who still has theirs plugged in. Blaze Rush is kind of a Micro Machines looking game, where it's sort of an isometric, where the camera doesn't really seem to change angles, racing game with little power ups and stuff like that. Very colorful, looks fun. Swindle looks a lot like, and Austin Walker would probably kill me dead if he heard me say this. It looks like, and this is coming from someone who doesn't like the genre, it looks like Invisible Ink. It's, 2D, well, Invisible Ink, I guess, was XCOM-y. It's like Mark of the Ninja or something like that. It's a 2D sort of stealth game where you're trying to rob stuff, and Many a True Nerd on YouTube has a couple of videos up on it recently, and I like him a lot, but that didn't look very fun. As can 2, I literally looked up what this was. Oh, that's like a puzzle game looking thing, but it's just for Vita. So nobody ever bought a Vita, right?
Yeah. And then Titan Souls, I actually bought 2 Vitas. Because I lost the first one because I'm an idiot. But Titan Souls, that's the 2D kind of Shadow of the Colossus type game. Dark Souls type thing.
Kind of, except it seems real, like, precise and kind of unforgiving and almost sort of Zelda-ish.
Oh, this is the Dark Souls one. You're just purposely trying not to say Dark Souls since we
you already did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm excited to play that. It's cross-buy for PS4, so I will definitely put that in my queue and then probably never get to it.
Indie games are the best for Vita, so in my opinion, and especially with some of the TV that's coming up, that'll be nice. But okay, so first news story: Mass Effect Andromeda got a release date of 3/21 in North America. No Steam release. You wrote that down, but that was kind of obvious news to me because Mass Effect 3 never came to Steam either.
Yeah, it's just it's a total duh, slap yourself in the forehead thing. But I read it and I was like, no Steam release. And half a second later, oh, of course, because they have Origin. They want to send everything through Origin.
Yeah. And they finally made a physical edition pre-order available on Amazon at some point. So I actually.
You mean you're not just buying a drone now?
I know. Yeah, it's great. Not even just it's kind of a crappy drone. It doesn't even fucking fly. But I'll sure strap a gun to it and bring in the New World Order with it, right?
Oh, boy. Speaking of Origin real quick, I would think this is still the case when the cast goes up. Mass Effect 2 is currently their on-the-house game on Origin, which means you just download it for free. So if you don't have it, you never played it, that's the best one to play.
Yeah. The Origin basically just works exactly like Steam, just a different interface, and they've improved it a lot over the years. So, like, I usually try and log in and add the free games, and they're usually free for a solid month, if not more longer. Like, they don't tend to do them a lot, but they tend to leave them on there a long time when they do them. But
do.
I don't know. Did you watch the new Mass Effect trailer that released today or yesterday or something?
Look, I don't pre-order games. I'm not going to pre-order this game. I will probably buy this game on 3/22. So I'm going dark on all the trailers. This one's. I'm going to buy this one. I know I'm going to buy it. Oh, okay. If it turns out other reviews are, shitting all over it and they say it's complete garbage, okay, maybe I'll Redbox it like I did with Final Fantasy 15, but I'm not worried about this one.
Okay.
Maybe I'm going to sound like an asshole in 3 months where I totally should have been worried. The way that on the Game of the Year or the Favorites of the Year cast, I was like, Final Fantasy 15, if it had come out sooner, that might have been on my list. I might look like a real asshole when it comes to the end of the game, but so maybe same situation here, but yeah. I'm in.
Okay, this next one's all you, though.
I had written on Trello, the title card for this was Garbage Diablo 1, quote, remake, end quote, officially out now. And then I went and actually played it before the cast. And you know what? I stand by what I said when I was playing it on the PTR. When it was on the PTR, it was garbage. It was just boring. It looked like shit. It was just Diablo 3 with, Vaseline smeared on the screen. And, that was kind of it. They put some more polish into it now that it's live. It looks like they have some new models for some of the enemies that actually respond to or correspond to actual Diablo 1 enemies, and you see that as you get kind of later in the labyrinth. The early 5-10 levels are all kind of stuff you've seen in Diablo 3, and it just looks like garbage because it's all 640 by 480, even though it's not. And they make it look like it's 20 frames a second, even though it's not. And I still hate all that. That is all still bad. I wish there was a way for you to just turn off the, hey, it's 1997 or whatever. Like if you could take that mod, let's call it, and have it play like Diablo 3 and look like Diablo 3 does today, I would have no qualms about it. I burned through it, and I think I set myself an hour and 10-minute timer because that's all we had till the cast, and I burned through it in 59 minutes. So you can definitely go try it out. It's not a huge time sink, so go try it out.
Honestly, I've been more tempted just to reinstall Diablo 1 and try and find an emulator that'll make it work right. I don't know if Blizzard's put any effort into that, but...
Well, you know what? It made me glad I have Diablo 3 installed because it kind of got me back on Diablo 3, I think. Like, I picked up 3 or 4 orange items on my run, and, an orange every 15 minutes, I get behind that. Let's do that. So I might be hooked back into Diablo now.
Gotcha. Okay, let's move on to releases. So games through January 20th is virtually nothing. We got Gravity Rush 2 coming out on the 20th for the PS4. For those not familiar, Gravity Rush was one of the initial PS Vita games that everyone really liked. And the big stick in Gravity Rush is you change the direction gravity is going. And the whole world shifts with you. And it's kind of fucking awesome. So I would love, hopefully this is just their idea expanded and improved and they were the thing about the original Gravity Rush was it was fun to be in that world and romp around with the physics. It was not fun to actually progress the game. So hopefully they fix that problem with it. I never played the remake, so I don't know if they did it there, but anyway. So then on to movies.
Those are your games.
Yeah, that's it. Get caught up. I know there's a bunch of stuff I still haven't played that I want to, because I need to get Super Hot. I still have never played that. But so movies. The Founder comes out January 20th. Has Michael Keaton playing the... you wrote down Ray Kroc. Is that the name of the guy who basically took over McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was totally not the founder, but he was like, hey, that's a good idea. I'm going to buy this shit out and way expand it. And it's... I saw the trailer before I saw Rogue One, and you know what? I really like Michael Keaton. So I'll maybe watch anything with him until he fucks up. I don't know, it's got to be a theater watch for me, but I'm interested.
Well, and as the guy who plays Ron from Parks and Rec in it, too. Playing one of the McDonald's brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Parks and Rec lately. I feel like I should be able to pull his name off the top of my head.
Yeah, it wasn't coming back to me. I used to know it by name because he's kind of the best character in the show.
Oh, for sure.
Arguably, but
I was watching Parks and Rec, and I was like third season in or something like that, and I forget. I think it was after Ben got fired or something like that. But they had like a string of like 2 or 3 episodes where Ben was just doing shit that I do, and I was like, it just occurred to me all of a sudden. I was like, this guy's fucking me. 15 seconds later, he's wearing a goddamn Batman costume. I was like, for fuck's sake, come on. I mean, you couldn't have scripted it any tighter. But anyway, I'm sorry. Moving on.
That's awesome. That's a good episode. Yeah. So, on TV, we got fucking nothing, as it was eloquently put in our show notes.
Not a title. There's just fucking nothing coming out.
Yeah.
Unless you count stuff that's coming to Netflix, which is, I mean, there's TV-ish stuff, but there's nothing really. I mean, unless you count Sherlock, that's going to continue to air, but that's not a debut or anything.
Oh, yeah. I guess Sherlock did just start airing on, I mean, it's on BBC Two or PBS or something like that.
It's on the PBS website. If you're like me and missed it and don't have a DVR, you can still watch it on the PBS website. It looks like 2 weeks after the show's air. So for right now, if you need to catch up on the first episode, you have until the 15th.
Gotcha. Can you still catch, because I missed the Christmas special. Can you catch the Christmas special on there too?
I have no idea. I don't watch Christmas specials of anything because they're hokey as shit.
Oh, okay. Okay. So on streaming, we got Ratchet and Clank on 1/9. This is that last movie that came out earlier this year, right?
Yeah, and I saw it came out and I went, oh, okay. I mean, I guess they're doing some weird shit with Ratchet and Clank now, but I don't know. I always liked that world, so when I saw it was on the list, I figured, okay,
gotcha.
That's something that'll end up in my queue.
Then A Series of Unfortunate Events, Season 1 on the 13th. This is the one with Doogie Howser playing the uncle, Neil Patrick Harris. I
will watch him in anything.
Well, then you can let me know how it is. Like, I've always been kind of curious about that series, but it also looked really goofy to me, so...
Well, let me say this again. I watch him in anything except Doogie Howser, MD, or How I Met Your Mother.
Really? Not a How I Met Your Mother fan, huh?
I just scripted comedies, like the punchy, like da-da-da, da-da-da-da, burr-da-burr-da-burr, ho-ho. It's just not, nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It Follows, January 13th. That's the horror movie that was very critically received. Like a lot of people
received. I get it.
I guess
horror movie. I get it. Like with the W. It's about the sex monster.
But what does it have to do with being critically received?
Because you receive ghost.
Oh, okay.
In your sex places. Critically.
Okay.
Look, they're not all fucking gems, okay?
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious to see it. I haven't gotten to see it yet, and I've heard a lot of good things. So that's the one where they, you have to have...
It's The Ring, except you have to have sex with someone to get the ghost to go to the next person. So it's kind of like The Ring piece.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then Voltron, Legendary Defender Season 2 on the 20th. Cannot fucking wait. I'm ready for this shit.
That was the subtitle of the last one, right? It was Voltron Legendary Defenders or something?
Yeah.
I just saw Voltron and went, boop, and then got to the anime part and went, boop.
Yeah, I really like that first season. I keep telling people it's a kid's show, but then I remember, people like you like Ultimate Spider-Man, so by that metric, it's like a fucking college kid movie. Like, with how adult it is in comparison.
It's a World War II documentary.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited about second season. The trailer they just released recently looks like they're doing like a weird Battlestar Galactica thing, where if you think back to that, was the first or second episode of that Battlestar Galactica remake, where they basically had to go to hyperspace every 23 minutes or something weird like that.
Oh God, that was so cool. I gotta watch that again. There's too much good shit to watch, man.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're gonna pay loose homage to that, but I don't know. That first season was really good. I really recommend the second season. I mean, I really recommend watching the first season. I'm very excited for the second season. I'm tired,
And
guys.
that wasn't a super long season either, right? It was like 8 or 10.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. I mean, they're all. I think the first episode was an hour, and all the other episodes were like 20 or 30 minutes. The showrunners for it are the same people who did Last Airbender, the cartoon series, and Legend of Korra. So there's a certain pedigree that comes to it. But yeah, it's real good. So I mean, if you're into those, fights that happen in space among the stars, they might even have some thievery in it.
How many thieves?
Like one thief.
Is he on board with everyone else on the team?
Is he on board with everyone? He might be. I don't know.
No. Is he a rogue?
I'm about to say, I knew we were doing the Star Wars Rogue One thing, but then you asked me that on board thing. I'm like, that took me out. But
no, I really wanted to make sure we pinned a tail on that segue.
Yeah.
So
if you hadn't guessed, we wanted to talk about the last Star Trek movie that came out a half year ago.
Do or do not, there is no try. Quote Captain Picard.
Yeah.
Because you just said Star Trek.
Well, yeah, I know. That came out half a year ago. I was joking. Like we were going to talk about Star Trek Beyond after all that build up to Rogue One. So, yeah. So, you might be surprised to hear they came out with a new Star Wars movies a couple weeks ago. I know that flew really under the radar for everyone.
Well, people were at their holiday parties and stuff. Nobody really has time to go to the movies at that time of year. They're all Christmas or Hanukkah shopping or whatever. They just don't have time.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know. I saw it. I thought it was all right.
That was the single best Star Wars movie I've seen in a very, very long time.
I mean, that's a true statement. I agree with that statement. But
As in, like, maybe I like that better than 5 and 6?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't feel that way.
That is an apocryphal statement. I understand that. I'm going to get nailed to the fucking wall for that.
5 and... So you're saying A New Hope is your favorite Star Wars movie?
I'm saying if it wasn't for all the homages and stuff and sort of callbacks and whatnot to New Hope, like if they weren't referencing New Hope as the source material, this would probably be my favorite over New Hope. And I went into this thing, I literally told a friend of mine, I was like, you know what, man, I think I'm just done with Star Wars. Like, I'm going to go see this because I have to, because we're going to talk about it on the cast, and I can't just not know what we're talking about. I'm going to go see it, and fine, whatever. And I openly wept through most of that movie.
Man. Well, I guess I'll be the asshole. Yeah, I had a lot of problems with the movie.
There was some real bullshit.
And actually a lot of, like, I don't seem to agree with anyone on the internet. I've been reading a lot of reviews and opinions, and, like, I think it was Mac who tweeted me to one reviewer that liked the main character as much. Well, actually, he liked it a lot more than I did. But, like, I could have done without half of the fucking cameos they did in Rogue One.
Cameos?
Cameos, yeah.
By cameos, do you mean characters that were in the originals but are dead now?
Like, okay, we won't get into heavy spoilers or anything, but very, very light spoiler that should be obvious to any Star Wars fan would be in there. R2, D2, and C-3PO completely took me out of the movie for the 2 seconds they were in. Rip that scene out. Like, right now I'm sitting at, like, maybe, 3 out of 5 stars of my feelings on this movie. Get rid of that scene and it just earns half a star back. Like,
you know, I'll meet you halfway. Leave them there. They don't have to say anything. Because they were there at that point. Like, that's cool. That's a fun little tie-in. Do they need to give them lines and shit? Well, yeah, probably not.
I probably would have liked it better if they hadn't talked. Yeah.
I mean, that's a happy medium, right? We can both agree on that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
The CGI. There were 2 CGI people that were were made to be actual actors, and I have not read any reviews on this. I've tried to keep myself completely pure, at least until we're done with the cast here, because I want these opinions to be coming from me and not just me repeating what I read online. The two CGI people, Grand Moff Tarkin, because of course, the actor's dead, but he's got to be there. Boy, he looked rough.
I mean, he looked like Finding Grand Moff Tarkin, the Pixar story.
It wasn't Polar Express bad, but like they really needed to do quicker shots of him and not do as many face shots.
He just, the problem is he looked, and maybe it's been a long time since I've just seen the human being that played Marv Tarkin, and maybe he just looked that way in real life, but he looked like a fucking cartoon caricature of the real person to me.
Oh, no, the actual likeness was pretty good. It's when he started moving that, I over the break I played Until Dawn from start to finish, and when you pause Until Dawn, whatever character you're playing, you can use the right analog stick and turn their head back and forth and make them look up and down and stuff, and they're just in this idle animation, and you just know the mocap directors were like, okay, now just look a little nervous. Okay, now lick your lips a little, or okay, now just look around. And it's just they just look like this weird mannequin animatronic thing, but you can control them. He looks like that because, in Until Dawn, that looks like Hayden Panettiere. It looks like the weird kid from God, what's the USA show where he's a hacker?
I don't know.
The Democracy's Been Hacked or whatever.
Mr. Robot?
Yes, the kid from that is in Until Dawn. And it looks just like those people, but they don't look human. And I think that was the issue with their CGI people in Rogue One. And if they wouldn't have just lingered so long on him, Tarkin was blinking when people don't blink. At ILM, they were like, well, he's got to blink. People blink. Make him blink. And it's well, no, he wouldn't blink 4 times over the course of half a second. He's not, I don't know, he's not in a dust storm. I don't know.
Well, and I got to tell you, the second CGI character, which I won't name by name, I thought they looked pretty. Honestly, after Moff Tarkin, they look like the fucking Mona Lisa to me.
And that was because I don't believe that character spoke. Did they? If they did, it was a very short line.
Yeah, they had one line, I think.
And and even that looked a little bit off. But the likenesses and the movement were very good until they started moving their faces.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm totally nitpicking here. There were an awesome amount of cool callback shots. This is basically the exact same shot that you saw in episode 4. When they're leaving Yavin 4 and they show the X-wings. There's that guy in the tower with the weird sort of scoop back white helmet where he's up in the tower and watching them leave. They do a couple of those. There's some cool bomber shots. There's some cool Death Star shots that you saw from the end of New Hope. Oh, there were so many cool things like that I just yep, they did probably too many of them.
It was a lot of good
hit.
It was a lot of cool throwback stuff. But it's a movie that I think has made me realize something. I am not a Star Wars movie fan. I like episode 4, 5, and 6. I don't own them. I don't think I've ever owned them. I am just as likely to change the channel if they are on TV. If I'm flipping through looking for something to watch. I think I willingly put myself through episodes 4, 5, and 6 when episode 7 came out. Episode 7 I liked, but I also thought it was fairly shallow and I don't know.
I mean it was fine, which is why I went into this one going this might be it for me, boys.
But I've come to the conclusion that the type of Star Wars fan I am is the kind who is upset that Dark Forces is, for as hammy and stupid and cheesy as it is officially off the radar, and Jedi Knight
written
2
out of canon.
is, yes.
They're gone.
I'm more of a fan of the lore of Star Wars and the world around it, and I really enjoyed reading some of the books back in the day, and playing Knights of the Old Republic and the X-Wing games. I mean, those are the X-Wing games are some of the best memories of my childhood,
And I feel I definitely sympathize with you there. KOTOR's great. I still have The Old Republic installed on my computer. I was playing it as recently as Christmas Eve before I went to my mom's house for dinner and all that. Um, this felt like the first Star Wars movie in, 30 years that actually felt like a real Star Wars movie. And granted, yeah, it's because they nabbed a whole bunch of stuff from the original series, including kind of the soundtrack, except they didn't. Like, all the soundtracks were reminiscent of the 4, 5, and 6, but it had its own thing. Like, they never hit that, this is the Star Wars theme, I liked that.
Yeah.
They were not shy about killing motherfuckers,
Well, and I think I'm probably just, now that we're talking about this and I'm thinking about this more, I think I'm probably extra hard on this movie because it had the potential to be everything I wanted it to be, and it wasn't. But it had some of what I wanted it to be, and it was a step in the direction of what I want Star Wars movies to turn into, because I think the more interesting stories are those of the sidelines characters. I think the more interesting story is not having the one Jedi to save the universe in your party. I think the interesting story is have a guy who's not that great with the Force in your party at the most, and then have to deal with someone who's a fucking expert in it,
And that's all the cool stuff. Like, this is some grim shit. Like, and I think that's what bugged me. And I know Star Wars is always kind of, not always, but generally is pretty squeaky clean and tries to be as family friendly as it can, because that's how you make the most money. This shit starts out in a prison. Like, this shit is dark. A lot of people die. Like, I was about an hour.
In a prison? I thought it started on a planet.
I'm sorry. It like first 5-10 minutes. People get put in a prison. Actually, maybe.
Are you sure? I thought the flashback to what's her name's
the flash. Okay, I guess present continuity, like first non-flashback scene.
Yeah.
Boom.
Because that's actually one of my criticisms is if you could get rid of the beginning of the movie, that whole flashback scene, and introduce the characters and that history in a different way, I think it would have been a better movie too.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think everyone did great in their roles. I know a lot of people didn't like one of the, I know you said you hadn't read the criticism, but one of the things a lot of the people who didn't like the movie have against it is they don't like the main chick. They don't think she's charismatic or interesting, and they like Rey better. And I am in the direct opposite camp. I think Jyn is 1,000 times more interesting than Rey.
Rey, I mean, and this is not to knock the actress who's playing here. I'm saying the character of Rey would not be making that speech.
Yeah.
When she makes the speech, like she makes a couple of speeches, and that ain't Rey. But what I was trying to get to, because we're going to gloss over it if I don't bring it back up, I was thinking like an hour and 15 minutes into this, maybe hour and a half, because this is a pretty long movie. I was thinking, back in the 80s, this would have been like, it wouldn't have been a G-rated movie, but this would have been like a medium PG. And like that last 45 minutes, it is a fucking bloodbath. I was like, okay, I guess they are in the PG-13 on this one. Like, it's not people getting their heads chopped off, or anything like that, but a lot of it's a war. A lot of motherfuckers die. Yeah. And I think that's what I enjoyed so much about it, is like, you're seeing the Empire, like, this is the peak of the Empire. And this is the start of the rebellion, and it's like, this is where all this shit clashes, and it's all the cool Star Wars shit, but it's not like, one-on-one, like, oh, Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, or, Darth Maul are fenced off by the shield or whatever, I'm sorry, Obi-Wan was not able to get to him, was Qui-Gon and him, whatever. It's not like guys quietly fighting in some holotube. This is epic scale motherfuckers blowing up, and they're just like, it did the awesome thing of Star Wars where there's this battle, but there's like 6 battles happening at once, and they do a great job of cutting between them, and
That's true. Those battles are really good. I really liked that they killed a lot of characters. I didn't like the majority of...
Don't you say it.
I didn't like the I don't know if I can do this on a... I shouldn't talk about this criticism yet.
I thought you were going to say that you didn't like the droid, and I was going to come to Tulsa and beat your ass.
No, Alan Tudyk was fucking amazing. Like that.
I had no idea that's who it was. I walked out of that theater going, holy shit, that droid, like, they gave him a ton of jokes, and when you give a droid a ton of jokes in a Star Wars movie, it's gonna go bad. Like, there's no way they don't Jar Jar this thing up, right? But this guy's delivery was so good. Like, this guy really got how to sell these jokes as being funny. And the jokes themselves were good. Like, these are funny robot jokes. And then I went home and I went, who was that? Of course it's Alan fucking Tudyk. Of course it's him. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah. No, I liked basically the entire main cast. Like, I thought all those characters were great.